You've probably heard content is king. You gotta be making content, you gotta be planning content, you gotta be posting. In this video, we're gonna talk about how to actually make that sustainable and doable instead of being a rat in a wheel, constantly being panicked, stressed, sweating about what you're gonna post that day. We're gonna talk about how to sit down, have a planning session to plan out content for the entire month. When building a sustainable, long-lasting, and growing business, I'm a big believer in putting efforts into both warm traffic, people who already know you, have interacted with you before, as well as cold traffic, people who have not heard of you. Then you pop up and all of a sudden they're a follower or a potential customer. That's cold traffic. In order to do both and build both at the same time, you've got to have a content plan in place that makes that possible. So over building and scaling my online course business through Instagram for 7 years, I've got a great way of how to create a content creation plan that will leave you kicking your feet up rather than sweating bullets day to day. Okay, so the first thing you're gonna wanna do is schedule out a few hours for a brain dump session. And this is where all the magic is gonna happen and the stars are gonna align and you're gonna get all that content calendar filled up and planned out. You do have to do a little groundwork before the brain dump session. Otherwise, you're gonna be sitting there with writer's block and getting a million snacks and wasting a bunch of time. So you're gonna do 3 tasks before you actually get into the brain dump session. First task you're gonna do is go back into your analytics. So let's say we're using Instagram, we're gonna go into our insights and look at maybe 30 days back, 60 days back, 90, even 6 months back. And make a note of maybe your top 5 to 10 top performing post topics. Take those topics and jot them down. Because what we can do is say, oh, this topic really resonated with the audience, so how can we do a different spin? And it could just be a slightly different spin, or you're taking a reel that performed well and put it into a carousel. So we're not reinventing the wheel, we're taking nods from our audience and what really connected and served them, and we're gonna put it into a new post, so less work for us and highest impact for our audience and our views. The next step would be to go into something like Google Keyword Planner or Quora, type in some buzzwords from your niche. So my online course business was called Lactation Link. It was all about breastfeeding and pumping. So we would put in buzzwords about our topic and we would be able to see what the highest search questions were surrounding our topic. We would pull those responses into our idea board for our brain dumping session. The third groundwork task here that I found to be super helpful and I would just do ongoing as part of my daily routine, I created a shared folder called Post Ideas. So if I saw a post from another creator that I just liked the setup, or I liked the topic, I liked the amount of text they put on a slide inside a carousel, something to that effect, right, that we could use as a template for our niche and our topic, I would screenshot it and I would put it into this shared folder. I would also pull interesting or recurring questions from our weekly Q&A on social media, input that we received from our course members that I thought could turn into a post topic, screenshot those throughout the day, throughout the week, and put them into this shared folder that we could then use during our brain dump session to create the very best content possible. Okay, you did all your groundwork. You get into the brain dump session and you've got all this stuff in front of you. So you just run through that list aloud and kind of think of this as like a riff session that you're just kind of talking out loud, and one topic can lead to another idea and you're writing a bunch of things down. Then you're gonna highlight maybe your top 7 to 10 ideas. What we found to be really useful, instead of using one topic for one piece of content, we would choose a topic and then we would say, okay, we're gonna create a blog post on this, we're gonna create a reel on this, we're gonna create a carousel, we're gonna turn this into a story chat or a story sequence on Instagram story. So we could get 4 to 5 different pieces of content on one topic. Boom, right? All of a sudden you're not reinventing the wheel, scratching your head, like working so hard for just one piece of content. You're taking one topic, one concept, and you're gonna create 5 to 10 pieces of content off of that one topic. Okay, so here's an example. If you're trying to plan out 30 days worth of content, and with each topic you decide on, you're gonna create a blog post, a carousel, a reel, an image static feed post, and a story share. So that's 5 pieces of content with one topic. 5 times 6 is 30, so you're gonna need 6 topics. How we did it is we would pull it into a Google Slides presentation and we would put the topic and then we would patchwork all the other pieces of content that are gonna be tied back to that topic, and that's how we would plan out 30 days of content. Okay, so the number of posts is absolutely gonna depend on how frequently you wanna post throughout the week. So I'll let you kind of figure out those numbers, but that's an example of how to do it. Now, if you set aside this 2 to 4 hours to plan it out, you're gonna need to set aside another time to go ahead and actually shoot any content or write any carousels out or things like that. So you might want to do your brain dump on one day and then actually record or create the post the next day. And you can really do this any way you want as far as creating and then delivering. One way that worked really well for me is we would take that first week to plan out 2 weeks of content. Then at the start of that second week, we would plan another 2 weeks of content out. The start of the third week, we plan another 2 weeks of content. And pretty soon we were a month to 2 months ahead on content, which was a little bit more heavy up front, but then actually created more freedom, and I wasn't in that little rat wheel creating content instead of actually running and trying to scale my business. Okay, and then actually another thing that can save you time is to use like a social media scheduling tool. We use something like Hootsuite. There's tons of them out there, and you can actually put all of the content in there, schedule the time you want to go live, and kind of fix it and forget it. A pro tip there would be to set an alarm on your phone of when the posts are actually going to go live, so you can set aside 10 to 20 minutes and go and engage with your audience, especially when it is first live. That will kind of help momentum of the post, so we can really maximize the reach and impact that the post is going to have. Now, there is some info out there that the algorithm doesn't necessarily like these scheduling tools, and so maybe the reach would be impacted or hurt a little bit if you do use the scheduling tools. You'll have to weigh that out, because posting is always better than not posting, but we also want to get the maximum reach. So another workaround or option would be to copy and paste the content into your notes folder, into a shared iCloud folder, or something like that, and then just use those timers to grab the text, grab the videos, and then post, or somebody on your team post when the actual post time comes. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know where you're at with content creation. Are you still the rat in the wheel like I was at one point? Have you figured some of this out? What was the very most helpful for you? Let me know in the comments, and see you guys next time.